Welcome back to the series where I discuss every single Disney cartoon release of each individual year. This time we're looking at 1926. This is the year the Disney studio would move to the Hyperion studio all the way in LA, which would be their main base until 1940. They would create pretty much most of the main stuff here, from Mickey Mouse to Oswald, and of course currently the Alice Comedies series. The first one being Alice on the Farm. This animated short doesn't really have a whole lot going for it, really, but it will change so shortly as we get to better ones as the year goes on. If you haven't seen the previous shorts, basically most of these Alice comedies, at least during this era, features a cat named Julius, who's the prototype version of Oswald, who's a prototype version of Mickey Mouse, so that's a lot of prototypes. He's basically a Phillips the Cat ripoff, and that's why they ditched him afterwards. And yeah, this is called an Alice comedy, but this is basically a Julius the Cat cartoon, because he's going to be the main character throughout most of these. Ever since the first actress, I guess, left the studio, the newer ones, they don't use as much. They wear this terrible, ugly outfit, and that's about it. They don't really want to mix it in, because this is too hard to animate around that. Which I can understand. They're getting it better at animating characters. They would focus on that, they had to focus on having live action stuff. I can see why, but they really should have cut that earlier. Though luckily for me, at least, we'll be seeing a lot less of the Alice comedies pretty soon, but not this year. This first one is really weak, there's not a lot going on, and the gags are also pretty weak, but you will see they start to gradually improve over time. Basically, the short, there's some crap on the farm. Pete, who's a bear at this point, kidnaps Alice again, and Julius the Cat chases after him on a makeshift horse, which he shoves a dog inside. Oddly enough, this is not the first time they're using a weird makeshift horse in the episode. It's kind of strange to happen twice, but they did. And then they have a sword fight, which, yeah, it's definitely a sword fight. And he saves the day by putting starch on him, then spitting on his fist, which apparently makes him break into a million pieces. I don't know how that works, I don't know the science of that, but that's just how it works in cartoon land. Don't question the logic. At least it's funny, it's the most noble thing that happens in this cartoon. Everything else is plain as hell. The next cartoon is Alice's Balloon Race. And somehow I didn't know the background audio was playing for the last couple of parts, so I'm sorry. I have to re-recording that, so you have to deal with that. And if you didn't notice about those previously recorded things, is that there's sound there. Oh, these sound cartoons? No, they were not. Remember, Mickey Mouse is the first official sound cartoon. There was one where Felix the Cat just spoke for like 5 seconds. And I really hate when they add sound effects, because they really are jarring. They don't match well, because they weren't originally intended to be there. And yeah, so fuck that. Anyway, this is the balloon race. All these animals here, including Julius and Pete and some other mice, are going on a balloon race. Or I guess a blimp race more than anything. There's just blimps there. I guess there is hot air balloons, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Unfortunately, he can't get the balloon up. It's probably not the first time that happened to him. And there's the live action mixing they did for like 5 seconds because they don't feel like putting it in the cartoons. So they see a hippo who's spitting tobacco, and that's going to solve their problems, because if you give a hippo who chews tobacco red hot pepper, it will sneeze and make the balloon go up in the air. Once again, cartoon logic, don't question it. One thing I did notice about these cartoons is that Julius uses his tail a lot, like for measuring. He even uses a beating stick multiple times. Very interesting that he does that constantly. Another often reused gag seen in a lot of cartoons is the idea of characters doing something even though there's nothing there, which I guess I call a spatial joke. They do a lot of those in these cartoons, but it's pretty overused in old cartoons especially. It could be funny, but a lot of times it can be a little overused. So while their balloon gets destroyed, Julius comes up with a great idea of using his parachute in a random long dog, I guess it's a wiener dog, and using their thought balloons to become balloons. You know what, I'll accept that. In case you're wondering who wins, we don't really know. It's never really shown until the balloon crashed again, and that's about it. Though I will say, I do like this one, though mostly because of some entertaining gags. It's not the greatest in the world, and some of them aren't that great, but there's a lot of fun action and unique things, like the weather in the background, and some unique backgrounds there. And look, there's some more tail stuff he does. He does a lot of stuff, weird stuff with his tail. This short is going to showcase them improving their animation style over time as they get more smoother and do more interesting things with it, like this thunder ball fight here, which is pretty creative. I do like that a lot. And yeah, it does have that, but it's overall not the best short in the world, but it is still entertaining. The next anime short from this era is Alice's Orphan. In the middle of a snow day, a mom gives up her little baby because she's a bitch, I guess? I don't know. Unfortunately, the highest quality graphic copy of this short has really bad overdubbing that's fucking terrible, that I really can't stand. Well, honestly, watch these on mute if you have one that has weird sound effects added to them, because they do not fit organically with the actual original animated short. So Julius takes him back to his place, and his sweater flies away. And I guess Alice is his wife, but later on, he has a girlfriend, so I don't know. I don't know what their relationship is. The rest of the short, he gives the little kid a bath, which makes him bleach out white for some reason. Is that white face? I do not know. And then, of course, they have a meal, and the little kid's hungry, so he eats a lot of food. But even though he impressively eats a bunch of corn off a butter knife, Julius says this is not the correct way to eat. You know, he does a pretty good job of eating, I won't lie, that's some pretty good skills there. But Julius is like, fuck you, kid, this is how you eat steak, you little bitch. Though actually, I have no idea what the fuck that is. Was that chicken? Could be anything, fucking liver for all I know. But the little kid doesn't listen, and he throws whatever, maybe tater tots? What is that? I know they got like a chicken and maybe a ham leg there, I don't even know. The funny thing is, even though he apparently doesn't have good manners, he's wearing a napkin, while Julius does not wear a napkin. So maybe he is better, so I don't know. It's a debate to reign the ages. Because the kid's been bad, he gives him a spanking, because that's what people did back in the day. They spanked their kids. That he just sends them to go to night, that's it. Oh no, that's funny as hell to me. That's really how the short ends, by the way. The end, this kid never comes back again. What'd you expect? The end. What a crazy short, but you know what, it was entertaining, so I recommend watching it, just on mute. The next cartoon is Alice's Little Parade. So what do you think this short's going to be about by that title? I think all the animals are doing a parade or something like that? No, just kidding, they're going to fucking war. All the barnyard animals are declaring war on, I guess, P and a bunch of mice, so Mickey Mice. This one's pretty unique because there's a lot more high-speed action, a lot more going on than the typical short so far, which is nice. A lot of them have way too many repeated animations. This one at least has a lot of dynamics and stuff like that going on, so it keeps up the ante and makes it a pretty entertaining cartoon to watch. My favorite moment is when Julius goes out in the front line like an idiot, and he gets hit immediately by something, and he dies, basically, but the mech's there to save the life. How does the mech save his life? Well, he has animal parts just hanging around, like his fucking heads. There's just random heads and limbs of other animals, like what the fuck? Yeah, part of this is just a montage of him getting put back together, and there's something really funny about that. Then maybe this clip is cut off a bit, because it does seem like it's way too far to the left, but I don't really know. Eventually the war is won by cheese, of course, because all the mice love the cheese, and this is a trick that Julius pulled on them. The next image short is called Alice's Mysterious Mystery, but this is the French version, or I think it is French, I don't know. Let me know in the comment section down below what language this is. I'm pretty sure it's French. What is this mysterious mystery? Well, it's dark, I'll just say that. So, P and a mouse they see some dogs, and they become a dog catcher. Well, maybe they're not bad guys, but oh, wait, what? They're the Ku Klux Klan? I don't think this is supposed to be the KKK, but they're supposed to be like ghosts or something, like just trying to hide their identity, but you know, it doesn't look too good. Not good luck. So the evil Ku Klux Klan steals all the puppies. And where do they go? Why, the sausage factory, of course. They apparently have a bunch of dogs to make sausages that they kidnapped. What the fuck's this cartoon? And yes, this is actually what's going on. They literally have a death chamber in there where they're read their last rites before they're killed and turned to a sausage. What the fuck, Disney? And literally when they come out, they bring a whole lake of sausages. It's dark, but it's funny. It's dark humor, and I love it. Which is not typically what Disney does for the most part, but, you know, I like it. The funny thing is that even though we already established what this trapdoor is, for some reason Pete goes over it like an idiot. Like, oh, I guess I shouldn't have gone down that trapdoor. I'm a stupid idiot. And I guess they busted that because he's got hit, and that's the end of the cartoon. The next animated short is A Lost Film. Unfortunately, 5 of the 14 cartoons that existed for 1926 are lost, meaning that the film is either they haven't found it or has been destroyed, because these films were made on cellophane, I believe it's called, which was a cheap version of a film that was extremely flammable, and fires were pretty common back in the day in the warehouses, so they burst from the flame, very low copies, didn't have any preserves, no digital, so they burn up. Though it is possible that these may be found one day, they are not. This is one of them. In case you're wondering what this one is, which this doesn't even have the title there, it just says Alice Comedies, but whatever. Apparently the description of this one was that Alice and Julius go fishing, where Alice charms the fish ashore with a tune from her flute. I don't think I missed much on this one, but it's a shame to have a lost film. And unfortunately, the next film is also lost, that one being called Alice's Monkey Business. Don't have a title card for this one either. Apparently the description of this cartoon was, while big game hunting, Alice and Julius found themselves brought to the core of the King Lion. Does that refer to Simba? Is this the first appearance of Simba from the Lion King? Who knows? It's a very vague title. Don't know anything about this short, so unfortunately, we don't know much about it. Next film, or next cartoon, whatever you want to prefer. It's technically a film, but it's also a cartoon anyway. Next up is Alice in the Woolly West. Some of these title cards have been lost or just not preserved with the actual cartoons. Sorry about that. This one, as you couldn't tell, takes place in the Wild West, where Julius is a sheriff, maybe, or he's just a random cowboy, who really knows. A lot of the 1926 cartoons seem to be obsessed with horses, and this being one of them. There's a lot of horse chases and horse stuff going on here. This predates the horse character, Horsecollar, which is a tongue twister when you think about it. So Pete and his gang of evil mice are attacking this cart, which just so happens to have Alice inside and a bunch of other animals. Based off this kid's bad acting, you can tell that she is scared. I just don't see the point of having this character here if she barely deals anything. We see that Julius the cat sees this all going on, and he has to save the day. He of course does this, but not by running his horse, by sledding down on his tail, because that's the best way to do that. And we also see, through some very interesting way of animation, that he kills the mice. Well, some of them are just injured, but he does kill 2 of them. He's a killer. And a cactus? Oh wait, that was a mouse. Oh shit. But don't worry about him, because he gets rid of his body. I love how sadistic he looks there. And the rest of the cartoon is a chase scene between a terribly animated Alice, doesn't look anything like live action, and Pete on his horse, which is nowhere near as sturdy as Julius' horse there. This chase scene and fight sequence is much better than the previous one we saw at the beginning of these cartoons. You can see them improving on some more interesting gags and characterization between some of these characters. You even get some more development between some of these background ones a little bit. Some recurring ones, not a whole lot, as soon they'll be swapping them out for a new set of characters in Oswald Lucky Rabbit cartoons with next year, but we haven't got to that, alright? Here's a favorite gag. After if they fall off a cliff, he's gonna throw a rock at him, but the rock is a pig for some reason. Why is it a pig? I don't know why that cracks me up. But I'll be honest, the end of this cartoon is bizarre. For some reason, Julius got scared and his ghost form became a secondary form to his skin, I guess? I don't know what the hell's going on. And that's how it is. He just beats him up. Okay, I won't question it. This one's pretty entertaining. Obviously, it's not the best thing in the world, but these cartoons, they're pretty fun, I won't lie. And they're pretty short, too. If you find them, go watch them. Next up is Alice the Firefighter. Turns out at the fire station there's tons of cats who are firefighters, so much as so they go for the same repeat animation. There's also a horse named Becky. I don't know if this is the same horse from the previous short or the later horse racing short. I do not know. They have a similar design, but not really, so who the hell knows. Most of the short are just animated gags about saving this one building from all its people, which we will see in later Disney shorts as well. This one dog saves a mouse by playing music notes, and I like those little gags. This one has a lot of those little gags. You get to see crazy fire truck vehicles. Some of them don't look very stable. And there's this repeated gag of Julius extending his ladder multiple times, but not being able to reach because I guess he didn't put it far enough. But then Julius the cat helps him out. I don't know which one is him, or the all the same. Did he clone himself? Or his kids? The world may never know. There's some funny gags, like, okay, he, instead of pushing the ladder foot closer, another one just pushes the hotel closer, and then he just throws it on the ground. Like, what the hell? What was the point? If he could have jumped out at that point, they're just going to throw him out on the ground. In this cartoon, I think maybe, but probably not, I don't even know, it might be the first time we see this gag where a person's about to fall down on one of these trampoline parachute down, you know what the hell they are. This reason is a gag that exists throughout pretty much all entirety of cartoons, for some reason. This cartoon is notable as it's the first appearance of this cat girl. Maybe we've seen her in one of the deleted cartoons, I don't know. She's very similar to a future character called Hortensia, who's Oswald's girlfriend, who's also a cat. I don't think this is the same one, but maybe. Anyway, this is going to be Julius' new love interest for the next couple shorts. He did date Alice, I think, in one of the other cartoons, but just forget about that, right? This version is a lot more different than that other version. He has to save her life, but he doesn't know how to, so of course, the best way to do so. A shittier cartoon would have Julius here, do some assault and kiss her without her consent to, quote-unquote, breathe air back into her, but instead, he used a rolling pin to push all the black smoke out of her. Oh, that's so funny to me. And then he gets to have a kiss. And they repeat this same kissing gag from future shorts, even Mickey Mouse ones, where they kiss in a very strange way. And that's the end. What a nice cartoon. Might be my favorite of this year. I don't really know. The next short, unfortunately, is lost. It's called Alice Cuts the Ice. According to the description, it was apparently about Julius trying to elope with Alice's maid. Maybe it's the same cat Carol we saw in the last short. And apparently would be a chase with policemen, according to whoever the weird description has. I don't know what that has to do with ice, but whatever. The next short is Alice and Romantiki, which actually is Alice Helps the Romance, because this is her translation. I don't know why the telecards are always like that. The last two shorts apparently about getting girls, apparently. Well, not really, but you know what I mean. This one continues that with Julius and this new Waluigi-looking cat guy, who is hilarious looking, trying to get the heart of this one cat girl, because I don't know her name. She looks similar to Hortensia, a future Disney character, but I am not going to make judgment calls. The Waluigi cat decides to steal his flowers in order to present them to the girl instead of Julius, which of course she accepts and doesn't like Julius the cat. This makes Julius the cat so upset that he tries to kill himself. I'm not even joking. He sees a nearby gun and thinks the best idea is just to kill him. Just blow his brains out. What the fuck? This happens in the cartoon. Yeah. These get dark. Honestly, I really get into these dark humor from these old cartoons, so I know some people might not get into them, but I find them hilarious. Disney wouldn't really do as much of these. They would, but not as much. But him trying to drown us up with a rock is it's darkly morbid, but it's hilarious. It looks like he's about to kill himself, and then Alice, who we forgot was in this cartoon, saves him. Julius explains that his heart is broken, quite literally. He literally pulls out his heart and shows that it's broken. I love that gag so much. Though Alice comes up with a plan to help save the romance, and that is by literally hiring a bunch of kids to pretend that they're the kids of the Waluigi cat. What the hell is with this short? Why is this so dumb? But then he turns out that the guy was a creeper the whole time, and then Julius saves the day. And there you go. That's the end of this cartoon. I love the design for that white other cat guy. It's hilarious. Unfortunately, I haven't seen all the shorts yet, but he only seems to reappear as a background character in another one during this year, so maybe we won't see much more of that guy. This next cartoon was also lost. Well, it was found in the 1998, apparently, and apparently it's in a library. Only one copy is known to exist, and it has not been revealed to the public for some unknown reason. Someone mentioned something to do with politics. I don't really understand it. It's in the public domain, so Disney rights don't mean anything for that. I have no idea why it's been released, but the synopsis for this one is apparently Alice plays guitar and Pete kidnaps her again, which apparently is a parody of the Phantom of the Opera movie, silent film that came out around the time, and then he takes her to a castle. Apparently it was inspired by films at the time, like the Galloping Gaucho, which we'll see with Mickey Mouse in 1928. Like I said, there's not much information about it, but that's all I got for you. And there's another lost cartoon that's technically the last one released, but since I wanted to end on an actual cartoon. This one's called Alice the Lumberjack. This one's apparently about Pete trying to kidnap Alice again, as Julius works as a lumberjack. Most of these descriptions of some of these cartoons don't sound that interesting. I kind of think we got the best ones, honestly. But there is an official poster for this one, obviously. It is a shame there's been so many lost cartoons from this era, but hey, there's a lot more Fleischer lost cartoons than there are Disney ones, so that's the only good thing about that. Anyway, let's go to the last cartoon. We got a German title. This is Alice's Brown Derby. This is about a horse derby, obviously, if you couldn't tell from the title. Don't know why it's brown, but all the horses are ready to do, they're doing chiropractic adjustments. That's pretty nice. And apparently this horse is too fat, so this guy does a liposuction right on site. Yeah, I bet you didn't know you can do that, but apparently you can. Instead of entering an actual horse, they enter a mechanical horse. I said that mechanical horse thing will come back, and yeah, there's Julius's mechanical horse, and there's Alice doing jack shit like always, just sitting there, menacingly. And when the race begins, they all go off in the same gag we've seen before with the pulling of the rope and the gun shooting it. Sometimes repeat gags, alright? Well, anyone's perfect. Apparently this guy, who I don't know who this is, maybe it's an our version of Pete, I don't think so, he decides to fuck with the racetrack just for Julius, because I guess he hates him. But he's able to get back up after stealing a vulture's wings, which of course makes the horse fly. You never thought that would work? Also, that frame is so derpy, I love it. Though it looks like his horse isn't fast enough, but in order to win, he pulls a Lightning McQueen, extends the horse in order to win, and yeah, that's about it. This one is not that great. Also, it says finish instead of finish, which is kind of strange, but whatever. So yeah, this is the Alice Comedies of 1926. They're alright, they're good. They are definitely an improvement over the previous ones, but it definitely seems like they're hindered by the actual live-action segments. In fact, most of the time we just have like one basic standalone shot or just doing something idle instead of doing anything actually interesting in the actual plot itself. It's unfortunate that this one here seems to have the most amount of lost films compared to actual cartoons that are available, but if you want to check them out, they're easy to find on YouTube for free, other than the one that it does exist, but they haven't released it, so I don't know what the hell that's about, but whatever. Next time we consider the history of Disney cartoons, we'll be delving into more Alice Comedies, but also a brand new character of Oswald Lucky Rabbit. So I'll see you then, and let me know if you want me to do more cartoons like this, because I'm interested in doing more. I probably might do some Fleischer or more Looney Tunes, whatever. So let me know if you like this, and let me do more of these that aren't Disney related, and I will do them. And thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more. Thank you for watching the video you just saw. If you like what you see, make sure you subscribe to me. You can also join me to see any channel things I might have. Give the video a like and a comment. If you want to go above and beyond, make sure to go to the channel link, and make sure to check out the links I have in my channel description. You can support me on Patreon. Currently there I have some digital versions of my books, which I'm currently working on. Another place you can check out is my fan wiki, which has everything to do with my personal projects. It's kind of like my own website. Great place to check out more information about my books, as well as getting the Amazon links for them. And the last thing you do is check out my ratings app, which also have my channel description, which you can keep up to date on things that I reviewed and rated, and you can follow me if you want to. These are the only social media I have, so go check that out. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next videos.